Thank you, everyone, for being with us today. I'm City Manager Daniel Valenzuela, here with the San Angelo Police Department to talk about a criminal investigation. A city animal services officer was flown to Lubbock yesterday, on November 6th, after being attacked by two aggressive dogs. The officer sustained multiple bite wounds and lacerations, as well as a broken arm, and remains in critical condition as of this afternoon. The dogs have been euthanized with the permission of the owner. The officer was responding to a call on multiple aggressive dogs at large in the 20th block of Cloud Street. Once at the residence, he discovered there were at least 10 dogs belonging to the owner. Witnesses stated that the two aggressive dogs, the largest ones, got out and attacked the officer. While we wait for further updates on the officer's condition, I ask for this community to please pray. Pray for him and his family. This is a dedicated public servant whose life is at risk. At this time, I'll turn it over to our police chief, Travis Griffith, to provide further details about the incident itself.
Thank you, Daniel. I appreciate y'all guys all being here today. A lot of times we think, why is the police involved in this situation? We support animal control in every way we can, and we are investigating any of the offenses that are crimes inside the city limits. And in this case, is what we're looking at is whether or not this is rising to the level of a crime, and anytime we deal with situations like this. So on Wednesday, November 6th, at about 3 o'clock, we responded to assist animal control. We found the animal control officer who was suffering from significant injuries, and our officer started treating him with the equipment that we give our officers and the training that we give them. And I want to say thank you to the San Angelo Fire Department. They got there quickly and were able to start providing additional treatment to this beloved public servant. He's been serving in animal control for a long time. That's a tough job. Once they were able to disengage from treatment, they found the animals with the assistance of the animal control officers, and they were able to subdue those animals. What we have to look at is if you have vicious animals, you have animals that are off your property, then it does get into an area of crime. So we have our Criminal Investigations Division is currently investigating this case. And so they're going to be doing interviews, and they're going to be talking to the involved parties, and hopefully get up there at some point whenever the animal control officer is hopefully capable and willing to go through the process of getting interviews and get more information from him. This just highlights the fact that our folks are out there in danger more times than not, more times than you think about. Animal control, water department, police department, fire department. This is a public safety issue, and one of these situations where we're going to look at how many times did we have responses to this area, how many times did they have interactions, was there malicious activity at play here, and so we're going to be working through that. Hopefully we'll have answers in the next week or so, and we'll be able to get some, we have some solid leads and solid information, and we'll be able to move forward with this case. And I will take questions. Yeah, you could get into that as a third-degree felony, depending on level of damage or death, on the offense that we're looking at. If you can get an intentionality, and I would just be sure and tell people that out there, we always talk about guns and knives and all this stuff. If you were ever to, in any situation, use an animal to attack somebody, that could be aggravated assault or murder. We've seen that happen in other places. I'm not saying that is the case in this situation. I'm just saying that would be a much higher offense. Yes, sir, Joe.
Joe, what kind of dogs were they? What kind of breed, mixed breed?
Yeah, it was a mixed breed, large mixed breed, and that's kind of what we're getting into is what animal control is informing. That's their.
Were they pit bulls?
I'll say that the mixed breed did involve a pit bull. Yes, sir. Anybody else? Yes, sir.
And I'm sorry, I may have missed this, but usually like you're leaving a scene like that, you say not in
So I can take that step by step. So what we're looking at, the question is extent of injuries on scene. Extent of injuries on scene was extensive. And the majority, I believe, my understanding is that all of Animal Control Services officers were on scene at this point. And it was talking to the officers that were there, it was a very, very rough situation. You know, definitely incapacitating, definitely rising to the level of serious bodily injury is what we look at in our area of crime. So as of right now, we're not releasing any status of what his status is at the hospital, just for his own public. So we don't want to put that out to the public. We want that to be something that is kept private for him because he deserves that. So, but as we get more and we can release that, we will. Yes, ma'am.
At what point do you or the city as a whole advise people to call animal control and/or PD when there's an animal problem? If it's just an animal running around on the street barking, at what point are they considered an issue?
Sure. And the question is, at what point is animals, should we call the police or animal control with animals that are at large or something to the animal bite? Always notify us on animal bites. I think it's important because health concerns, it goes to the health department, and disease that are spread. If you have a neighborhood dog that's causing a problem, that's what animal control and the police department's there for. We will do it after hours based on call volume. Y'all know that we're running a little short staff, but every time we get a chance, we're out there to help support them. I'm also advocating with the city to say that let's put some more resources towards animal control. I think this kind of highlights the fact that we've had several recent attacks in our community, and so I think that's going to be something that we're going to be looking at. You know, if we're fully staffed and we can go out there and respond all day long, it's something, but we're working through that. And I think the more we apply those resources where they need to be, then we'll be able to respond quicker. And so that's the ultimate goal.
Would there be a possibility, I know budget-wise, all of that, Venezuela, to be able to add resources to animal control?
We have added resources to animal control as far as the building itself and things, upgrades that needed to happen. City Council has been forthcoming when it comes to budgeting for that. As far as further discussions, as far as resources and staffing, that's a conversation that we'll have at a future meeting as far as a budget meeting. But absolutely, any discussion, especially that remediates or assists with resolving the issues that we're facing, they're all up for discussion and action as well. Yes, ma'am. I think the animal problem, again, the best thing to do is not to approach an animal. If you see an animal at large, absolutely immediately report that and call that in. We do have trained professionals that do show up and respond to those calls. I think a lot of times this perception is that we're not responding, when in fact, I can show you that there's so many times that I've called and asked about a certain area, and it's the people are complaining that no one's responded, but we look at the log, and our animal services officers do respond to those phone calls. They go out there and they look for those dogs. A lot of times they're gone, but I think the perception, because a citizen that calls in doesn't see an animal services officer out there, they think that he or she wasn't out there, when in fact they do make it out there and they log every time they go out there. But again, do not approach a dog that's loose. Call that in and let us take care of that. Yes, sir.
Is there an ordinance in San Angelo? I mean, this guy had 10 dogs on his property. Is there an ordinance limiting the number of animals you can have, depending on how much of a backyard you have, that kind of thing?
Morgan, as far as the number of animals, I don't know the exact number, but yes, there is a limitation. And Morgan, if you want to, it's six dogs. As far as the size of the yard, that is not I guess point of contention, but I guess the number of animals is going to be 6. Not a guess, but that is the ordinance. So.
6 animals on a property?
Yes, sir.
Could that be an apartment building or an apartment or a house? It doesn't
Again, I'll ask Morgan to come up here and address that more specific as far as the ordinances themselves. So.
Thank you for the question. Owning 7 or more dogs inside city limits does require a permit. I think I can share this person was not permitted to have more than 7 dogs. And that is a stipulation of 7 dogs over 4 months of age. So if you have, for example, a litter of puppies, that does not count towards your canine limit or capacity. You do not have to get a permit if you have, for example, a litter of 8 take puppies. It also, and another exemption is if someone is fostering through a appropriately incorporated rescue group, those animals don't count towards your personal capacity either. So simply a canine capacity, 7 or more dogs on your property over 4 months of age does require a permit.
And I can add to the fact that animal control, when they go out, they're going to discover things as they go. Just like when we discover things through investigation, we'll be there for a minor violation and discover a felony. They'll get there on this case. They're dealing with dogs at large, and then they discover there's more there to it. So they're very aware. I've never seen any issue with them not knowing the knowledge, not being able to apply that appropriately. They're a solid group of people that do a job that doesn't pay much, and it takes a lot of hard work. And I'm impressed with the amount what they do. And I think that just like with anything, we can always improve, and that's what we're talking about there. So,
Chief Griffin, when your officers encounter an animal problem like this, are they trained in any way to do the initial response to it, or do they have to sit there and wait for animal control to show up?
no, I mean, we will handle any vicious animal that's out there. If it's actively attacking somebody, then we've unfortunately had to euthanize in the field, which we don't like to do. But if we have to for the public safety, we'll do that every time for the safety of the public. And that's what we're kind of geared for. That's a partnership between the two. Is that we will handle the ongoing active attacks, and then after the fact, they'll come in, and the animal control will do the reporting side of things, which is mandated by the state, and follow up with animal control issues such as rabies and things of that nature. So we also have specialized training through the state of Texas that in regards to what to do with when dealing with vicious dogs and how we can try to bring that down. Specialized training that's required by all police officers, and we've all been through that. So, good question.
How many years have the injured individual worked with City?
I think we won't go into that just because we don't want to identify who he is, and I think if you put a number to that might specify that. So as soon as we get clearance to do so, and we can get further to make sure that we get him out of the woods, then we can look at that. The thing I really want to drive home for those that are watching and those that are here is that let's be praying for him and his family, and also our animal control officers. I mean, they just witnessed a very traumatic incident, right? And anytime you have that, that's hard. We're going to be adding additional resources to support animal control, right? Working with them alongside them to give them just that little extra peace of mind to know, number one, you're not by yourself in the car for a little bit, get some time to get past that. We do that with our guys, and so I thought it'd be appropriate in this situation anytime. And that doesn't mean they're any one of the guys when we do it, not less of a person. It's just giving them that extra resources to know that we're all a team and we're all moving forward for the betterment of San Angelo and the public safety here. Yes, sir, Joe.
One last question. We get news tips all the time. We've had several people inquire about this event, and one of the narratives was that the owner of the dogs sicked the dogs on the animal control officer. Can you reveal anything about that, or is that part of the investigation?
It is a part of the investigation, but I won't. Any aspect of that law would require whether or not you're being reckless or intentional, right? So that's what they call the culpable mental state. If that rises to that level, then yes, that would be pivotal in that investigation. Whether or not that's factual, we're still working through. So that's the key point on many different things, because you go through intentional, knowingly, and recklessly. That's the culpable mental state of somebody that goes through any crime, and that has a specific, in that offense, it has a specific deal for reckless and intentional. So that's what we have to investigate, and that's what we're working through. Anything else? Yes, sir.
No, go ahead, ask your question.
I might have missed it. Was the individual cited for having more than 7 dogs on the property?
So they're going through the investigation. I think right now what we're doing is we're looking at what is going to be appropriate steps to take, dealing with the highest level of offense. We can always come back. We have 2 years to file a misdemeanor Class C, so that can be handled. And that might already be working through today, but our priority right now for the San Angelo Police Department is working through to find out what level of offense this is, if it is a crime, what are we going to do to take forward, working through prosecutors and things of that nature. So it will be looked at, I can tell you that. I know that's already had conversations about it, and whether or not they've already issued that citation is not something I'm dealing with. And I'm have Daniel come back.
Just one quick statement, and then I'd like to invite the mayor to come up here and say a few words as well. Our animal services officers and all the staff members that work for the animal services department, I think they do an incredible job with what they have to work with. I ask the citizens to be patient, and I know that there's a lot of complaints that do come in. These are dedicated individuals. They love what they do. They do love animals, but they also love this community and want to do everything they possibly can to help make this community safe as well. We've read plenty on social media that's very critical of these individuals. You can be critical of the system itself that if it needs improvement, and we always look for ways to improve the system itself. And that's always a continuous work in progress. I think that Morgan Chegwigan, when she came in as the director, has done a wonderful job. Things have changed. COVID came around. There's a lot of changes that have gone on, but I can tell you this, that our staff out there at Animal Services, they're an incredible staff. And again, they love what they do. As the chief expressed a while ago, they witnessed a very traumatic incident, and they're hurting right now. They're really hurting right now. So again, as the chief expressed, and I expressed earlier as well, please keep them in your prayers. This officer, but also all the staff out there at the Animal Services departments. With that, Mayor, would you please come up here and say a few words?
There's a probably used phrase, but it's called "it takes a village." And when we talk about animal control, when we talk about vicious dogs, when we talk about owners having too many pets, animal control is a people issue. It's a people issue. People create the problem. People who had too many dogs, no individual can control 10 dogs. You can't. Many people train dogs and animals to be vicious. We have to be vigilant about what we do as it relates to vicious dogs and packs of dogs. We know that an individual dog on their own might not be vicious, but when they join 9 other dogs, that pack becomes a different animal. There's an old saying, another one that goes, if you see something, say something. As a neighbor, as a citizen, if you see something that doesn't look right, if you hear something that doesn't look right, if you're aware of something that you know is not right, you got to tell us, because we can't hire enough animal service organization officers to be in every block in every part of the city on a daily, hourly basis. That's an impossible task. It will take the citizens working with animal control and working with the police department to deal with the issue. And it won't be simple, and it will be a difficult thing. People don't want us to euthanize animals. People think that's cruel. But what's cruel is to have a citizen, an animal service officer, to be attacked like this man was. And there have been other incidents. This is not just because this gentleman was an employee of the city. It just brought to forefront the issue and the problem that we have today. Citizens, don't train your dogs to be vicious, because they're going to, at some point, do the wrong thing. And animals sense animal service officers showing up at their door. They can smell better than any of us can smell. They run. They know how to avoid. They know how to get out of the way. But if you see something, you know something, and you're aware of something, you got to let us know. We might not be able to solve that problem this very minute, but we're going to be aware, and we're going to put that information down so we can follow up and use that information in the future. We can't put enough police officers on every block of every piece of this city to ensure that crime doesn't happen on any street. But citizens, you're smart. You know what's going on in your neighborhood. You know what's going on in somebody's backyard. And you know when you have a vicious dog in your neighborhood. We've got to make a difference as it relates to people feeling safe in their home and in their neighborhood. People need to know that they can let their children outside and not worry about them being attacked. We've got to make sure elderly people don't have to fight off dogs to save their own lives. These dogs didn't get vicious overnight. They didn't. They were trained to be vicious. We need your help. We cannot, as a city, do this by ourselves. We can't. It will take all of us working together, everybody's ideas, everybody's concept of solutions for this problem to be vocal. And we are open to all of those ideas and suggestions, but we do need your help. And we need to know where the problems exist. We're not going to be in the right place at the right time all the time. So please, help us. Let's not let one more person in this city be attacked by a dog and someone's life be endangered because the pet owner was out of control. So help us and pray, if you will, for this ASO officer. He's going to need all of us praying for him and his well-being and his return home. He needs us. He needs all of us. If you hear something, see something, know something, let us know. It's key. And we will start a much more aggressive communication, much more aggressive communication about packs of dogs, vicious dogs, loose dogs. It's an issue. But the dogs didn't create it. Citizens created the problem. And you got to help us solve that problem. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mayor.
Thank you.
All right, we're just about to close out real quick, but some great analogies there. And one thing I want to tie up is that I'm more Western than Mayor's a little bit more refined than me. Growing up, was told you can't plow a straight row looking backwards, right? I mean, looking into the future to what we can do to improve to be better. I can tell you that since I've taken office, animal control and working with Ms. Jagwigan has been nothing but a pleasure, and we're going to continue that moving forward. And yes, if we see anything, any issues going on with dogs or anything out there, you call us, and we'll be a part of that solution. I do want to clarify that there's some generalities that have been stated. Those generalities meaning we'll be looking through to see if these dogs were trained in any particular way, and that's a part of the offense. That's not something that we're saying is a definite thing. We're saying that we're looking at intentionality, what kind of level of vicious animal is this, and we'll work through that. Ultimately, I think San Angelo understands that we're working with finite resources, and we're going to do what we can in every aspect of the city to make their lives better. The more that we work together, the better we are, and that's why I think United States of America, we're united together to stand for one another. So, and I think we can go ahead and close out. I appreciate y'all's time. We'll be following up with a written press release that will follow up behind this, both on the city side and our side, I believe. And then additional, as we get more information on the case, we'll be releasing that out in a written press release. Thank you, and God bless. Please keep our animal control officer in your prayers. Unless you had anything else. Okay, thanks, guys.